Good day everyone. In this video, we are diving into the world of database performance mysteries. Picture this, a seemingly innocent query running on your SQL server, but little do you know it's about to unleash issues through blocking. Get ready to uncover the secrets behind SQL Server blocking caused by a normally running query with a long execution time. We will uncover the surprising reasons why a long execution time can turn a good query bad, leading to dreaded performance issues. But fear not, as we will equip you with powerful insights and practical solutions to tame the blocker and keep your database running smoothly. Stay tuned and buckle up. Together, we will explore the hidden mechanics of SQL Server blocking and learn how to reclaim control over your database performance. So currently, the database server JBS Wiki is experiencing a blocking issue. We have this log scout running in the background. So let's run sp underscore who is active. This is a stored procedure that we have it in the GitHub. You can download it from the internet if you want. So I'm going to run this sp underscore who is active. So we see, yeah, what I'm basically seeing is like there are close to like um, uh, uh, select queries, like close to like seven select queries that are running. So right now I don't see any blockings. Everything seems to be working fine. Let's run sp underscore rules active a couple of times more and see if there are any blockings. So if you can see here, the query is right now we don't see any blockings. Everything seems to be good. Let's wait for a couple of more minutes. Let's execute it one more time. So now if we can see here, what I'm able to see is like all these seven queries or 7 or 8 select queries are getting blocked. And if you look at it, the blocking session IDs, what I'm able to see is like, so this particular query 83 is blocked by this update statement. And all these select statements are blocked by this query. So right now, all these queries are waiting on LCKMS. So let's run it one more time. So the problem is like while performing a live troubleshooting, I just clicked on execute. It is kind of like hung and it is taking a lot of time, even though the query returned is in 1 second. But live troubleshooting seems to be a problem here. It's because it's gonna take some time returning the actual results. And also like what I'm going to do in this scenario is like I'm going to use the log scout, which is basically collecting the data in the background. I will be using this particular output, and then I will be loading the SQL Nexus with this output, and then I will show you guys like how is the blocking tree coming up, and also like we will see like what are the solutions that we can employ to solve this problem. So right now this seems to be in a blocking issue. Right now what I'm seeing is like if at least like if you look at these select queries, these are all waiting like close to 68 seconds. So like close to like the query is running for like all these queries are running for last 1 minute 8 seconds, and all these queries are basically getting blocked. Like they have not yet done any of the work. It is basically waiting for this update statement to complete. So that is what we are seeing here. So what I'll do now is like I will stop this SQL log scout, and then I will have a look on the data. What I'll do is like I will load this data into SQL Nexus, and then I will show you guys like what is there as far as the collected data is concerned. And in case you have any questions regarding to running the SQL log scout or loading the data into SQL Nexus, you need to look at my previous videos where I've clearly mentioned how to configure and run SQL log scout and SQL Nexus. Let me pause this video and I will load the required data into SQL Nexus, and then I will show what I'm seeing on the SQL Nexus, and we will take it from there. Also, I'm executing this particular stored procedure. If you look at it here, we are able to see that these select queries are basically getting blocked, and these select queries are basically coming from this particular stored procedure. And I'm using this tool called SQL test from sqlworkshop.com. And what I'm seeing here is like right now, due to blocking, the average DB time of this particular query is taking is like average is close to 8.6 seconds. So that is what we are seeing right now. So let's load the data into SQL Nexus, and then what we'll do is like we will try bringing in some solutions, and then we will see what would be the average DB time after we introduce the fix for this blocking issue. SQL Nexus is loaded. So what I'm going to do is like I'm going to click on this blocking and wait statistics first. And if you look at it, what you're able to see is like the weight as far as the weight statistics is concerned, the top weight category log seems to be topping the chart here. Yeah, so it is a very clear-cut understanding that blocking is happening on the database server. And then if you look at it here, we are able to see that blocking has happened around 4:12 p.m., 4:13 p.m., and every time it was waiting for like close to 88 seconds, and we can see that there were close to 7 block sessions, and that is what we saw while we were doing the live troubleshooting. Now, if I click on any of these here, what I'm able to see is like I'm able to see the head blocker here as this update statement. And we can see that this update statement was basically having some wait type like write log and page IO latch. Let's look at other blocking tree also. And if we see here again, so right now what I'm able to see is like all the blocking here seems to be due to this update statement. It is very clear, like it seems like this one is the head blocker and causing this issue. Let's look at this one as well. And if you see here, again, the same update statement that is causing the blocking issue. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to use this TSQL query to basically check for the blocking tree here. This blocking tree is little better because if we see here on the SQL Nexus, I'm able to see that it is basically giving me the update statement, but it is not giving me anything related to the stored procedure or from where this particular query came in. But this blocking tree query, I'm basically running this query on JBS underscore SQL Nexus, and it very clearly tells me like the head blocker is USP underscore product underscore UPD underscore cost. That's the head blocker. And the queries that were basically waiting on this particular stored procedure and this update statement is this particular stored procedure. So the head blocker is this one, and the queries that were basically waiting on this head blocker were these queries. So at least now I know that this query is getting blocked. And if we look at it, this particular query's average execution time is like close to 8.2 seconds. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to look at this particular stored procedure and then see what is that we can do to improve this query. Yeah, so now first I'm going to click on a new query window, and then I'm going to get the help text here. So let's look at it. Let's first look at the query definition. Okay, let's look at this. So it's cost. So it should be on JBS Wiki database. So let's run that. The product. So we are not able to see that. So let's go to the database directly and then check the stored procedure. And then if you see here, this is the stored procedure that is performing the update. And let's look at the blocking tree one more time. And if we see here, USP get stock level from dim product, that's the query that is getting blocked by the head blocker. So let's look at that one as well. So now if I look at it here, what I'm basically seeing is like this is basically an update statement, which is basically updating a dim product table, and it is basically setting the end date column to get date, and then whatever value that we are giving as far as the safety stock level is concerned, that's the predicate that is used. Yeah, okay. So what I feel is like we can try executing this particular query manually, but right now the problem is like it's a blocking scenario right now that we are facing. Yep. So and let's look at the other stored position which is getting blocked, and here what I'm seeing is like it is basically having the same predicate as the update statement, which is safety stock level. And then what I'm seeing is like it is basically calling is trying to return list price, finished goods flag, and standard cost. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to try running this query. Yep. So let me try running this query and then see, look at the execution plan and then see if we can improve this query. So let me execute that. Let's wait for this to complete. It is done now, and what I'm seeing is like we are basically doing an cluster index scan, and then here there is a missing index. So let's try opening that, and then what we'll do is like we will create this index just to make sure this query gets the appropriate index. Yep. So let me name this as ixdim product underscore safety stock level. Let's run this, let's create this index. And then now if you see here, it is basically going for an cluster index scan. And then what I'm seeing is like we are reading actual number of rows read is 8,87,071 rows. And then we are returning close to 0 rows. So basically like what we are doing is like, sorry, no, we are not returning 0 rows. We are returning 4,29,828 rows. Yeah. So we are basically reading twice the required rows. Okay. So now this is created. So now what I'm going to do is let's execute that. And then let's see the execution plan. So this time what I'm seeing is like we are doing an index seek. Okay. And the next thing that I'm going to do here is like um, um, we need to basically have a word with the application team and understand if this select statement can be moved to a different replica. Yeah. So that is something that we can do. Like, for example, you have an always on availability group, and if this query can be moved to one of the replicas, then what will happen is like we will not be facing any kind of blocking issue at all. In my case, I don't have an always on availability group replica. It's a standalone box. So I had a word with my application team, and I've proposed them whether we can add a no log hint to this particular query. And I've told them the risk as far as no log is concerned, that you will be basically the application might be seeing some dirty reads where basically like the transactions that are not committed will also be the data will be not consistent, or they will be seeing some sort of uncommitted data, and the application team is fine with that. They don't have any issues here. So what I'm going to do in this case is like I'm going to add a no lock hint into this stored procedure. So let me add that, and then what I'll do is like I will alter the stored procedure and then try running that just to make sure everything looks good. Let me run it. So it's executed. Let me execute the query once. Okay, awesome. So now what I'm able to see is like I'm able to see that this query is running fine with the no log hint. And then what I've done is like I've tried optimizing this particular query. So now if you see here, the actual number of rows read is same to the actual number of rows returned. Like after I created that index, I'm not doing more reads than required. Like when you look at it, when it was doing a cluster index scan, it was basically doing 800,000 rows. It read close to 800,000 rows, but now if you see here, whatever is required, it is basically reading, which is 4,29,828. So that way I've optimized this query, and also I have added a no lock hint. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to start this test one more time. So right now what I'm seeing is like due to blocking, the response time is really high. Here it is 8.278. That is what I'm seeing. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to start it and I'm going to check the response time after I have created that index and also like added a no log hint. Okay, so I'm going to start it now. Now, if you see here, now I don't see any kind of issue. So previously it was like 8 seconds after I created that index and added the no lock hint. What I'm basically seeing is like the query is completing within 1 millisecond, 10 milliseconds. Let me change this to milliseconds. So average DB time in MS, and what I'm seeing is like it is completing well below 1 second. Yeah, so it is like 9:38, 9:39, 9:41. So everything seems good. Let's also try an sp underscore ooze actor, and then let's see like what do we see there. So sp underscore ooze active is here, and I don't see any blockings here. So the update statement is running, but I don't see any blockings at all. So look at the query again. So it is well below. Once again, it is no longer 8 seconds. And now what I've done is like basically I have improved this query 8 times after creating that index and adding that no lock hint, and I'm not seeing any blocking at all. So I've solved two things. One is like I've solved the blocking issue, and second thing is like I've improved this query 8 times. Previously it was taking 8 seconds, and now average time it is taking is close to 1 second. So that way I'm able to solve it. So it is very easy for us to work on these performance issues when using SQL Log Scout and SQL Nexus. It is always not possible for us to do a live troubleshooting, and when you have a lot of blocking happening, there is high possibility when you are doing the live troubleshooting that can add some more issues, because you are trying to run some troubleshooting queries and that can cause some issues. But when you have this SQL Log Scout collected, what happens is like it doesn't just captures the required data, but it captures a lot more than what is required, which will be useful for us. Like after looking at some data, there is no requirement for us to go back to the server. We can use data in hand and we will be able to understand what is happening. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Jai Hind.